in less than a year. Call Cybertech Career College now at 322-4223. That's 322-4223.
Peace 107.5 FM, the air of success.
We are in the 5 o'clock hour, and if it's 5 o'clock, it is hard copy. Hard Copy is a presentation of the McKinney Media Group, copyrights 2016, all rights are reserved. The views, statements, and opinions of guests expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of the host, sponsors, or operators of this radio station. No part of this program may be copied or reproduced in full or in part without the express written consent. The producers, Hard Copy, McKinney Media Group. This is Hard Copy on the McKinney Broadcasting Radio Network, and Hard Copy, as you know, seeks to lay out the facts in simple fashion for the inclusion of all Bahamians and Bahamians at heart. The focus every day to move forthright in our manner to build a progressive and developing country. Our desire is for a Bahamas with a competent, skillful, and productive workforce. We want a country that can feed and sustain itself. We want a country with a brilliant visionary action plan, ready to embrace a future of hope and prosperity. We encourage like-minded Bahamians to participate with intelligent and honest contributions. After all, we have a country to build, we've got jobs and industry to create, we've got a people to inspire and empower, and generations of born and unborn Bahamians to protect and plan for. And if not you, then who? If not now, then when? Today on the show, we've got a variety of stuff for you. We've got lots of things on the table to get off our chests and influence you by, or influence you with. And that includes some stuff from IRCA today. It's all ahead on Hard Copy.
At Ron's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators, and generators back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them on 242-356-0249.
Bethel Baptist Church presents its annual Youth Day, and it's going to be exciting. This Sunday, October 2nd, 2016, at 11 a.m., you want to be there and hear Pastor Dwayne Thomas, who is from the Reverend Kingdom Center in Georgetown, Exuma. You must be there for the annual Youth Day. The theme, Destined for Greatness, and special music and dance by the Youth Day Choir, the Youth Praise Team, and the combined youth dancers. You ought to be there because there's going to be a whole lot of excitement at Bethel Baptist Church this Sunday, October 2nd, 11 a.m. Take your families and go to Bethel Baptist Church because God has a blessing in store for you.
Want a better financial future? Seize the day. Is it crazy to think about retirement when you're this young? CFAL says it would be crazy not to think about it. Seize the day. Make your future happen now. Set goals, build wealth, and create the life of your dreams. CFAL can get you started. Visit CFAL.com to find a savings or investment plan right for you. CFAL, seize your future.
The next election in the Bahamas will be the most serious election in our history. You better mark it.
All I can say, if the Bahamians don't watch out, if the PLP actually gets back in power, this country will definitely not be long gone.
You said if the PLP get back in to run, what country you talking about? Not the Bahamas?
The DNA had their function on Christie Park, right? They had about 400 people, right? I was down with a PLP fair. They had about 5,000 people. Let me tell you something.
Pushing down on me, pressing down on you. No man has spoken.
This election, I go right back to my property. This election is going to be one we have never seen before. Perry Christie wants a third time around. The Lord is allowing him to go this way, to embarrass him, to shame him, and everybody that is following him.
To realize and to know what this country come to under the last 4 years, it is ridiculous.
the PLP is in a dangerous position right now, in my opinion. If you look at all the suspicious deals and the moving around that they've been doing, I was sure people would be called up for treason.
Everybody, as a Bahamian, has rallied around a prime minister that they can trust.
It is Thursday, the 29th day of the month of September 2016. As you battle the congested city streets and drive home traffic, we have showers on the outside right now, cloudy skies, 88 degrees in the nation's capital, 79 for an overnight low, 30% chance of rain in the forecast tonight. Thank you so much for joining us on the drive home. I'm Steve McKinney. This is Hard Copy. We're brought to you today by the Falcons 70s and 80s theme night. It's wonderful. It's spectacular. You want to be there. Reflections Beauty Salon on Carmichael Road, Cybertech Career College, Easy Life, that's EZZY Life, the new online shopping craze. Bahamian Brewery and Beverages, Commonwealth Bank, your friends at CB awaits you. Kalina Insurance for comprehensive coverage. Super Wash. You can wash, eat, and relax at Super Wash. The Bank of the Bahamas, the Bank of Solutions. Super Value, the All Bahamian Supermarkets. Advantage Insurance and Brokers, 61 Collins Avenue. Ron's Electric Motors, Claridge and Wolf Road, Sky Bahamas, professionals in every way, every day. Also by Kalina Financial Advisors Limited, CFAL. Executive Printers on Jerome Avenue, McKinney Media Group for special events and, of course, advertisements. And also Bethel Baptist Church, their big Youth Sunday happens this Sunday, October the 2nd. 325-0235 or 6. What's up in texting? 376-9234. Peace Online. That's Peace 107.5 FM. And, of course, you're looking at Cable Top Box 970. And the TuneIn Radio, iPad, iPhone, and the Android. You can get us there. Facebook, Hard Copy, and Twitter, Hard Copy Bahamas. That's how you can reach us today, friends. We thank you so much. We reach out to all our friends around the world and, of course, the family of Islands and certainly in Atlanta and Washington and every place else. And we thank you so much for joining us. What's happening here in the Bahamas, boy, pretty much the same. Nothing is going to change in a day. No matter what they say, what a difference a day makes. No, sir. When the day rolls around, it's almost the same thing. You can almost tell the time by it. And that's because we've got some problems here. And one of those problems is that we don't want to face up to the issues that we got some serious situations here, some sticky situations that need explanation. And the people who are supposed to explain don't have time to explain. And I'm talking about people like the man in charge of the Junkanoo Carnival. You heard him. You know, he says, Paul Major, the chairman, he says, Carnival is not really for a profit. Hey, what are you talking about? Carnival is not really for a profit, and so they don't look to make any profit. They're not looking for any profit, but they can sure spend some money. 15 million, easy, 10 million, 12 million. You just call the millions. They'll spend it, but don't look for a profit. And that's what Paul Major said. We have to get him on the record. Hear what he said.
This is not a profit exercise. It has never been, and it never will be. Nowhere in the world is a carnival a profit venture. In Trinidad, they spend, I think we've estimated somewhere around, based on the conversion, around $40 million a year. The government may make taxes of, I don't know what the number is, but it ain't 40 million. But it ain't about that. It's about the tens of thousands of people that fill their hotel rooms. It is the thousands of people that rent every available vehicle on the island. It is the thousands of people. One band alone that I participated in, they had 15,000 people in it. Our total parade ain't reached there yet, but we will. So those 15,000 people who buy costumes at an average price between $500 and $1,500, that is what it's about. So the GDP impact of that is in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And that is the big picture we need to see. We keep talking about what we spend, but we're not looking at the economic impact of what this thing does.
I'm not impressed at all. Garbage, rubbish. I dismiss it. Can be true. Don't compare us to Trinidad. They have generations of carnival ahead of us. They do make a profit, contrary to what Paul is saying. And they do make something for the country. It's profitable in many ways. in that country. Comparing us with Trinidad is like comparing apples with oranges. Ain't the same thing. And certainly Trinidad, they know exactly what they're doing because it's their culture. And they have been masterful at it. And yes, they are perhaps the best in the world. But the point is, where you get off at, this is your third term, a second time doing a carnival, and you want to use that as a yardstick to say, look at them, they don't do this and they don't do that, they don't make profit. Well, we have been spending a whole lot of money to start up a culture that's not ours. And we expect some returns, even if we only get 10 people to our hotel rooms and tourists who can come here and say directly that they came for Carnival. We have done no such thing. The marketing has been atrocious, terrible. They've not done anything to get people in this country to look at Carnival. They just went out to the cruise ship, scrapped some people, say, y'all come. Any cruise ship will tell you, well, there's nothing else to do in Nassau, so they're having something. Go on, go take a look. But that's not marketing planned action that will bring about any kind of dividend. It brought about a lot of bad publicity. And while Paul and those are very happy that they've done a good job because they pulled something off, that's a long way and a long cry from doing something effectively that has impacted the economy and impacted the people. If you look at impact, it's been a terrible bit of impact as far as the sociology, and the spirituality is concerned in our neck of the woods, because we don't do the Trinidad thing. We are a group of people who believe in the supremacy of God, and that is reflective of our Constitution in all that we say and do. So Carnival is not impressive. It has not been for us. And if these fellas who are in charge of it continues to run along with this kind of thing, it's going to get worse. And so the powers that be should find some people who know what they're doing. Not talking pretty numbers. The numbers don't add up. Voodoo economics. And we're not impressed. Thank you very much. But I'm not the only one who's not impressed. Richard Lightman is not impressed. We got a chance to talk with him about this wild spending. You know, don't look to make no profit.
The length of time it takes to get out this information is absurd. It really is. But the actual amount, it's just more of the same. You know, this government doesn't seem to have too much regard for expenditure of the country's funds. They could always find money for something they want to fool around with, and there's no real accounting as to what. I mean, I know there's some statements there, but when you go into a situation like this, and suddenly you need an amount. I forget where we started. Was it 5 million or 6 million? I can't remember.
9 million.
But that wasn't the initial estimate.
Yes,
this was going
6
to be
million,
cheaper,
somewhere around there.
quite a lot cheaper than last year's, and they would, it would be a lot less, and so you talk that amount. They seem to have no regard for where this money comes from. As I say, they always seem able to find it, and it's just outrageous. It's just money for a big party. Doesn't seem to brought the country much real benefit. I don't know. I did attend some portion of it. I think it was the last nights, I guess, or no, maybe the night before. And in terms of the foreign visitor involvement, I mean, it was minuscule.
Yes.
Very, very, very.
Do you think it's worth it doing these carnivals? And the PLP obviously is getting ready to do another carnival for early next year. They've already started advertising in the newspapers about people registering and all that kind of stuff for carnival. Is this worth it, really?
I've got my doubts. In this case, if it's anything like last year or like this year, there was no indication of who the performers were going to be, which is an important part of the carnival. You know, you go to somewhere like Trinidad, and you know well in advance where they're going to have these fits for the different stars of music world. Here, you had no idea. It was right down to the last minute who was going to be performing, and that is no doubt a major part of the attraction to somebody coming here. So when you go and announce it
what was it, the month before or a couple of weeks before the actual carnival. You can't expect people plan months ahead, maybe years ahead. So you can't expect people all of a sudden to go, hey, the Bahamas having carnival. Steve McKinney is he's performing. You say, who the hell is Steve? And and the next thing you expected to drop everything and come rushing down here. The cruise ships suggesting that there was some connection with them, and that was major. Seems like that was a major part of the tourists came from the cruise ships. Well, if I'm here in town, nothing to do, and I'm on a cruise ship, and I see some big thing going on, surely I'm going to stroll down here. But that had nothing to do with my booking that trip on the cruise ship to enable me to be in Nassau on a certain date in order to attend that function. That's ridiculous.
Well, it doesn't appear. It doesn't appear as if anyone is going to be able to stop this show, stop the party before next year, because next year is a big election year, and certainly I know if any effort is going to be made, it's going to be made with a concerted effort to have the carnival for sure this time.
As the song or the book or whatever, you can't stop the carnival, eh?
Don't stop this party.
Stop the carnival. No. I mean, government going to find the money from somewhere. The amount really depends on what they decide they're going to do with it. So at the last minute, you're going to end up having of carnival, and whether it costs, it seems whether it costs 5 or 15 million doesn't make any difference to this government. They'll find the money from somewhere, or take it from some other thing, or maybe even borrow it. They don't care. You're going to have a big party, make everybody feel happy, big carnival, and we're all happy, and then we rush from there into some kind of election mode. This is crazy.
Yeah, but it's going to work. That's what happens, If Christie and those decide that, boy, next year we can do the carnival, that's going to run straight into May. My Lord, May comes, and then May is an election period, eh? Next thing you know, everybody jumping all up and down. They're feeling so good. They go on right inside there and vote all the way. We'll see what happens. But anyway, that's Richard Lightburn talking with me yesterday on the telephone. We were supposed to have used that yesterday. I wanted to get that clip in because we have to put certain things on the record. You heard what Paul Major said, I have, but whatever. And we'll see how that goes. Now, in this segment today, we're going to be introducing the new acting CEO of IRCA. His name is Stephen Baru. Of course, he's a Bahamian who has been doing an excellent job in his area in policy and all that kind of stuff. We know the people over at IRCA because we've been keeping close tabs on them for forever. And the truth is that he's getting ready now to inform us about the new guys. The new guys are the new cellular guys. And no wonder why there's some people running around trying to get their marketing right. All of a sudden, everybody is trying to, when competition comes to the market, or people do all kinds of stuff. What I've heard from some people today, that's what I'm figuring it out now. I wonder, what would they call me? Okay, I see now. Yeah, there's this new second cellular license that's coming up, and they start next week. Yes, and the CEO, acting CEO, Stephen Baru, and we want to congratulate him. He doesn't want congratulations, but I say congratulations because I got to think about these things. I know that when you're named the acting CEO, chief use the boss. That's just it. And so, that's how we do it in the Bahamas. Thank you very much. Mavis Cawley is with me today, and she's the beautiful wife of a fella I know named Sydney. And of course, that's my good friend. I can say that. And Mavis has been over there as a part of the legal team and everything else. So you're not legal team. You're now in marketing and corporate relations. That's what she's doing. She makes these things happen so that we can get the right people on the air to talk about all those things that concern us. So for this few minutes, I want to welcome you, Mr. Baru. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. It's great to be on your show.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the congratulations. Notwithstanding, it's just for now. So we will, and it's an exciting time. It's a lot of work that we've been doing for a long time at IRCA, some work in the government, and we're finally at a stage where we can look forward to mobile competition, which as IRCA has said for years. Every year we say it. It's in our current annual report. It's been in every one we've done. It's the last monopoly market in the electronic communications market, and it is we think the most important one that needed to be liberalized. We need competition.
No question about it.
And finally it's here. We obviously have to wait and see what NewCo, the new company, will provide.
That's the name, NewCo.
Well, that's where they are now. It's the company name.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not privy to their marketing plans.
Okay,
The marketing
understood.
is not something we get too involved in.
No, you just want to make sure you get.
We
the
just
right
want to make sure they're able to provide a service,
Mhm.
that the service works, and hopefully, and I think we already hinted at it. It will drive improvements in service and quality and prices across the board.
Yeah.
It's not just the new service that we have to look forward to as being
Mhm.
better. It's the other services should improve as well.
So you're looking at prices to be driven downward, because obviously if you want to be in this game and be competitive, you've got to really be competitive. And so we should see some wonderful prices eventually in this liberalization of the new cellular market. And we already know that this company is called NewCo. I've seen them in the newspapers saying and doing some things. But what does this really mean for the industry, Mr. Baru? What does this really mean now? You've got the people who have been doing some stuff at the BTC and others. They are, I think, Cable is also one of the telephone people now.
Yeah.
And I know you've got some other people coming along. This is quite interesting. And I believe that at the end of the day, we're going to see something that the Bahamian people could live with. But what does this really mean for the industry from your point of view?
Well, it's competition, and just as by way of background, NewCo is 49% owned by Cable Bahamas Limited.
Okay.
And 51% owned currently by the government of the Bahamas through a holding co. But whatever their brand's going to be, what it means though is that we now have competition in every sector of the market. We have competition for broadband. We have competition in fixed line telephones, so Cable Bahamas and BTC. We have competition starting to come on stream for cable TV. BTC's launched their Flow offering.
Yes.
And they've launched that. We also have a company called Bahamas WiMAX. I don't know how familiar you are with them. They sort of are based out west, and they also offer a TV product. And what we will find, we believe at IRCA, is that the liberalization of the mobile market is what will help to drive true competition across, because no operators are going to be able to rely on a monopoly. And when you have, I mentioned the other day to someone that the total market for electronic communications may be $500 million odd. Almost 300 million of that, or around about 300 million of that, was in mobile. So you had BTC in a position to hold on to 3/5, say, and I'm throwing out numbers, but 3/5 of the market, and rely on that to keep themselves secure. Now that that's a competitive market, I think you'll really see everyone, and I think that's where Flow TV is coming from.
Okay.
You're seeing BTC having to make sure they find ways to do a better job and to
do other
diversify,
things,
to provide things. And that's what's going to drive competition, because that's going to shake up Cable Bahamas and their television business. It's going to shake up Cable Bahamas. I think BTC, you'll see an improved broadband product. It will shake up all of that. And that's where we get competition driving lower prices, better quality services, because it's not all about prices. And in many ways, you've already seen the impact. Prices have actually been decreasing because BTC don't wait until NewCo launches. They want to lock you in all now. Over the last few months, we've been seeing an improvement in the offering consistently on a almost month-by-month basis. There's a change, a minor change perhaps. And I think we'll see more of that. We'll see offers, we'll see promotions. Christmas should be good.
Let me ask you this. There was this whole idea of sharing things as far as the towers and so forth and so on. How is that panning out? Because I know that people sometimes who would be in another corporate entity would look directly at the other competition in the corporate entity, like a Cable Bahamas, who now has 49%, and the governor of the Bahamas has 51 through a holding entity, as you said. But they will still be looking at, wait a second, we don't know we should be sharing such and such and all that. How is that part of it working out? Because we don't want as consumers to be stuck in the middle, like Mopey in the middle, when the bottom falls out if things are not really on the level of the competitive spirit and the cooperation.
Yeah. And I think it's important to recognize, and we had a meeting with the operators today, and I said, let us get all these things that you have to do cooperated, and let's cooperate where it makes sense so that you can compete where you need to compete, and that's about selling phones and services to people. Now, cooperation. So couple basic things. One is if you're all gonna compete in relation to telephone calls, you have to interconnect your network so that people on one network can call the other. That's number one. It has to happen.
Has to happen.
There's no question.
We saw it
about
early with the landline.
Exactly.
Thing, right?
We're always going to have interconnection. The second thing is mobile networks are an environmentally intrusive thing. Those towers, of which you have over 100, 150, almost 200 towers already on New Providence. Yeah. And that's on New Providence alone.
New Providence alone.
We haven't gotten anywhere else. If you had someone else come along and unnecessarily duplicate that, build another 200 towers,
I see your
they'll
point.
be everywhere. So what you want to, what sharing's about is we want to avoid as far as possible. I have a tower on this side of the street. You need to put a tower on the other side of the street. Well, you know what? Put your equipment. If there's space on my tower and it can hold it,
do it right.
Put your equipment on my tower. Rent the space. Pay for it. Don't get me wrong. This is not about this is not a freebie thing, because this is not like a building perhaps where somebody else could rent it. I don't have to rent it to my competitor.
Right.
There's only two people who need this type of infrastructure.
Exactly.
And they need to share it.
So you had to really kind of like pull teeth to get them to see that, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think they see it, but bear in mind that it takes longer to build one than to share on one.
Okay.
I'm not going to go any further. I don't necessarily. Obviously, yeah. So so there's a lot of back and forth, and it's all about people have to protect their market positions, and they're supposed to protect their market position. I don't expect operators to act like altruistic and it's all about doing for the other guy.
Because I know that when they first started, Mr. Baru, when they first started, there was considerable talk about all these towers going. We didn't know where these towers were coming from and all that. And I made mention of them on this show some time ago now, probably about a year or so.
Yeah.
And I was saying that, okay, if in fact we have all these towers, there should be some kind of way of sharing, because to me, it looks like they're pulling down the environment with all this stuff going here and going there. So I'm happy that they've seen the wisdom of the sharing. I know all the kinks about that worked out.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some challenges. One of the biggest challenges actually is that while we want sharing, it's not always feasible to share as much as we want, because the towers, some of them are old, some of them might be too short, some of them are too small, some of them aren't, there are a number of issues. And I think it's going to be years of rationalizing before we get to the point where we really optimize, and that's the word I'd want to use, optimize the towers in the country so that we don't have any more than we need. So I think we may see some go up, we may see some come down. Exactly. You need to have sufficient. We don't want quality to be affected.
Exactly.
So there's no circumstance where we would say to NewCo, you have to share on this tower if it's going to impact the quality of the service. We're not going to make them move a tower or share or put their stuff in a different place if it's going to make for a poorer service. But if it is feasible, if it makes sense, and if it will maintain the service, absolutely, sharing should happen.
So we're looking at quality service right across the board here. And with the quality service, we don't want to lose that. And some people have suggested right now that we are back to an area, I don't know how true it is, because I don't really spend time on my phone like that. I use the phone to get text messages and stuff like that. I don't, I'm an old-fashioned fella. I don't want to be traced, so I don't really. When I say trace, keep a tab on me. Got a phone. But the point is this: I'm told that the quality is deteriorated in some cases, and I wonder how do you make sure that does not happen with the fact that you've got two competitors and they've got to do some things together, but at the same time, the public must not suffer, because Mr. Baru, the public will call you and say to you that, look here, this is lousy service. We had enough of this, and get rid of this.
They ain't call me.
They ain't call Mrs. Colley.
Most certainly, we are not compromising on service, and there are certain standards of service that any operator will have to meet. If right now persons feel that within a particular area they are not getting the kind of coverage they think they ought to be getting, if they experience an unusual amount of drop calls, fuzziness, interference, and static, then they should first bring that matter to the attention of the service provider. And if for some reason they
no answer, we understand how it works.
You come to us, but we just want persons to know that you are guaranteed a certain level of service, and if you can't make a call, then you're not getting service.
Absolutely.
And if that is the case, of course, unless there is some unusual circumstance that you understand that causing it to happen. But if you find that you try to make a call and the call continuously drop, you're not connecting, you try to call this particular number call's not going through, then for God's sake, go to the service provider. What I also wanted to say, because we've gotten this question, persons sometimes tend to think when we talk about tower sharing that, this person is going to be sharing the network, but we want persons to know that
that's a difference.
Separate, and that's a critical point.
Separate networks.
It's
there's
not
no
the same service.
Right.
It's
They
not
won't
the same network.
interfere with each other.
They're not interfering. And
the towers are just constructed in such a way that they can hold.
It's just about putting two sets of antennas on a tower. No different than parking a car next to somebody else. It doesn't mean you got the same car.
Right.
There are
So you also want to lay those kinds of fares.
Yeah. While I'm not a telephone guy like that, I'm saying, with all these things where people do all this nuances, the young people are looking at, their data and all that kind of stuff. And I've heard them say that, I just put $10 on my thing and they
Use
send
it
me
all up
something.
already.
We've gotten some of those complaints.
How do you bring some kind of focus on that area of it for the average everyday consumer? There's a lot of young people who have phones left, right, and center, and they're complaining about certain things. And I want to ask that question if I can on their behalf. I don't know if I asked the question correctly, but I know that they have some stuff.
I think there's a firstly, most of the young people, they may complain about the price of what they're paying for, what they're getting for it, but most of them understand very well what they're using and so on, better than we do.
I got you.
But I think one of the critical things is the price of data is going down, and it will continue to go down. Data is getting cheaper. Competition will help with that. The other key thing is the government, when it did the request for proposals to bring in the competition, was very, very, very clear and concerned about what kind of service would be provided. And I think the requirement was a very high level of broadband, mobile broadband service in the new provider, which I'm sure BTC will replicate. And I think we are on the verge of a real explosion almost in the terms of the quality and what we get in our mobile networks and mobile services. I'm hopeful, excited about it. It's not about one provider being better than the other. It's just about competition. And it is what those who like me live for. It's about competition.
Those who can market their product best will get the early bird word, and that's all that is.
Exactly.
That's what it is. All of us are in competition. We in radio are in competition. If you can hold your own and talk radio, good. If you can't, well, dog eat your lunch. But you are a competitor, and you ought to go as best you can. Let's turn our attention quickly, because this is completely just straightforward. 49%, 51% on the government, 49% for cable. Newco is a company. Next week they roll things out. We should start seeing a lot of things happen. A decline as far as the data is concerned. That's going to be dropping rapidly, and certainly the competition would provide for easy access and affordability, and that's what the consumers are looking for. So that's all well and good. Now, quickly on radio, how are things going? I saw that you all were in the subject of all kinds of things, and somebody called me. They said, Steve, at least one of my guests, one of my co-hosts who comes on the Sunday show, says, Steve, boy, I see Urca has done some stuff there. You better watch out. I said, me? I said, man, I abide by all the rules of Urca. I do my thing. There's been no complaints about me, and all is well. I said that, but some people are in the system who, in fact, are going to have to be looked at because of what they're doing. And then a couple of days right after I saw this thing in the paper, say, wow, I didn't even know. No one told me, but I saw that. I'm saying there are some concerns in our business of radio. I understand that. So very quickly, if you can, and then what are we supposed to be doing? I know the answer already. I know that we're supposed to be doing a number of things with our station IDs and all this thing that Urca told us about. Hardly anyone. I don't want to sound like I'm pimping off anyone, but they don't do it. Yeah. But we do it all the time. We do it so much that people say, "Well, how come you all?" That's a requirement. That's a requirement. And we tell the people, if you want to complain about something, you come to us first. You write us. You tell us what the problems are. If you're not happy, you go to Urca. They will come. They can come and set up a court right inside there right now and say, look here, where are your tapes?
Yeah.
I understand that. You know, the broadcasters understand that. The owners, we understand. There's no problem there. So I want to know what is going to happen here, because there ought to be a clean out in the system, and that may be something that has to be done by professional broadcasters to say, we have a standard, and this is a standard. Anybody can open these mics and talk stuff. I don't know how much the regulators have anything to do with that, but it's a fair question.
Well, let me just start by saying, obviously, you get a license from IRCA to broadcast, to be a broadcaster, and it comes with some rules. And one
Absolutely.
of the rules is the content code, and it's very straightforward. I think you were in the room when we were creating the code. Many broadcasters, or most of the broadcasters were, and the code, I think, is a fair one.
I think
it's one that's designed for this for this country. It's not wholesale bought from anywhere else, and it was discussed between IRCA and the broadcasters. What has happened, or what should happen, is that you as an owner, I mean, you're an owner, broadcaster, both at the same time, but as an owner, every owner should ensure that the people that work for them understand and are aware of what is in the code, so that when they do their jobs every day, they comply with
rules
the
of
code.
engagement.
Exactly. You know, you employ me to do something, I follow the rules. If I'm a police officer, I have to know what the law is. If I'm a doctor, I have to know how to deal with people. I have to know my oath or whatever, my Hippocratic oath and all these things. If you're a broadcaster, you got to know what's in the code. And as an owner, you have a responsibility to ensure that.
Absolutely.
Some do it better than others. And really what has happened is we've noticed, and this is, you know, I live here. We all live here, everyone who regulates at IRCA. And we too go to the supermarket. We too sit in the car and listen to the radio. We do all the same things that everybody else does. And people complain. Not everyone is prepared, for many reasons, to go through that process of complaining to you and then coming to IRCA. Out of fear, out of all sorts of reasons, people don't do it. So what we really identified is that there is a need for IRCA to say, look, yes, we have this complaint-based system, and yes, we want to make sure that people who have to complain, but we also want to ensure that broadcasters understand that the lack of a complaint is not necessarily a free pass on doing whatever.
Yeah.
So we've been instituting some things, and they'll involve things like spot checks, or things like me listening to the radio and making a complaint. In the past, I would listen to the radio. If I hear something wrong, I'm like, well, there's no complaints, let me not. But maybe now in future,
you're not rocked about.
Exactly.
But you ought to be monitoring. You ought to be
exactly.
monitoring.
But we can't over monitor. It is not our intention to become Big Brother, watching everybody, and being prepared to crack.
But you are able to monitor if you wanted to, right?
We can, and we do, but we just don't do it continuously. And we also, the issue of recordings came up. We ask you as a broadcaster to give us your recording, for various reasons.
By the way,
that's about making sure that you are monitoring as well what you are doing, so you record it.
By the way,
also,
I wanted to say this. By the way, there's an area of complaint right there, because not everybody records their shows. Okay, I can play any soundbite in this country that I've had on this station, anytime. I can play it on a minute, on a dime. I'm bragging here. I want you to know that we can do that because we record, and if people want a copy of it, they can get it. See, you have to record the programs. But you have some places that are not recording anything, and if you want to get a copy of it, it's not available. Now there has to be some kind of equality in this whole thing, because I'm recording, but some other people don't record, and if push comes to shove, if there's an issue, you have to be able to produce that tape.
Well, let me just say firstly that there is a requirement in the license and in the code to record. You have to record the shows. If you do not record the shows and a complaint is asked and we ask for a tape, there is a penalty for that. And in fact, we have on at least one occasion, and in this case, the station claimed that the equipment had broken down, and they were fined for failing to have the tapes on request.
My Lord.
And that's where we go. And I think that was raised, that you could edit the tape or you'd not provide it and all those things.
You can do that.
The reality is you could try.
Yeah.
I mean, if we have a complaint that, Mr. McKinney said ABC on the air, and we get a tape and Mr. McKinney takes ABC out of the tape,
Yeah.
You know, there's obviously going to be a further investigation.
have
And
to.
again, that's another issue.
Well, I stand by every word I say. When I say the good words and the bad words, I stand by it. If you want to get a copy of it, it's right there. And it's on the record.
Penalty for doctoring or like you said, not having
Mhm.
can possibly be greater than the penalty for the actual
Yes,
alleged.
yes.
It's almost always going to be greater because we would take that a lot more seriously. 'Cause
Well,
that's like, you know,
that word has to be spread throughout the entire industry. See, I made myself very, very familiar with the rules of IRCA. I did that from Jump Street. I made myself very available, very familiar with it, so that I can know. In fact, and as a part of making myself very familiar with it, I was able to do some things that I know that is profitable to the nation. And the MBM Network News, I share it with all the other stations. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I do that because I created that.
Yeah.
I created that before I created the station. You see the point?
Yeah.
So there are things, because you read, you understand how you can do some things.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, I just wanted to say that with you. And I appreciate what is going on. I understand what is happening, but it's our fault. It's not IRCA. It is us in the industry who must, in fact, ensure that, you know, if you're not a lawyer, you can't practice law. If we are broadcasters, you got to protect that.
Yeah.
All kind of people broadcasting, doing stuff. And I had a boss who used to say to me, his name was Ed Beth. He says, "Steve, this is about broadcasting. This is not about narrow casting." You know?
Yeah.
So if you want a narrow cast, you got to do something else. I look at my time. But listen, what else is there that we need to touch bases? Because I'm going to bring you guys back, hopefully by next week, Thursday or Friday, so that we can really go through some detailed stuff. I think that's very important here. But Mavis, I know that you wanted to get some other things inside there before we.
No, basically, we
leave
wanted,
today.
like, we thank you for the opportunity. We wanted to just share with the your listening audience that come next week, we have delivered, or the government of the Bahamas through IRCA has delivered on its promise of cellular liberalization. There is a rollout plan, and so, you know, depending on who's listening, where they are listening, the coverage will be staggered over a period of 2 years,
Well,
beginning
let me
first.
just- what will happen is for the initial launch, services will be available on New Providence, 99% in New Providence, which is fundamentally 100, and 80% of Grand Bahama for the initial launch.
Okay.
The NewCo will roll out its own network in tranches over the next year and a half, so that every 3 months, 3 or 6 months, depending on where you look, there will be added coverage. So islands will be added, or more area on particular islands.
called
so that after
phasing
a
in.
2-year period, so after when they finish, which is a year and a half from now, the whole country will be covered. But bear in mind, though, that at some point in the very near future, what we will have is what we call national roaming, which is one of the other big issues. Which is NewCo will be effectively paying BTC, so that when NewCo customers are outside of NewCo's coverage area, they will be able to make and receive calls.
That's
So
a sweet
even
thing.
So effectively, even though
they may not be,
They may
say,
not
in
be-
Crooked Island.
Exactly. Even though you may not have
2
the
months,
network in a
3 months,
particular island,
if you have the phone,
you should be able to use
you'll
it.
still be able to.
We are working on that. That one, as you might imagine, that's a little more complicated. So that one may not be in place by Monday, but it will be in place very soon, as soon as we can get all the kinks ironed out in
and-
terms of how much they'll pay and so on. I mean, you know, it is important that obviously BTC can't be disadvantaged by this. BTC must be able to make money. It's their network. They maintain it. But at the same time, it's not really a benefit to NewCo. It's a benefit to the customers because NewCo still has to go build a network, and they're still going to be spending money on that. So we have to make sure that it's a fair deal for both operators.
Understood.
And I just want to say, you know, it has been a very hectic process in the last 3 months trying to get this thing off the ground. And I am really amazed and you know, by the cooperation between the key people at both entities, both NewCo and BTC. We've had a very good run. And you know, we've achieved something. I'm doing some research right now to see how many countries could get this thing done in the period of time that we've
you
done
all
it.
got it done.
These not and it's not us. It's not IRCA. It's really BTC and NewCo that have had to really put the pedal to the metal. And and both have done an admirable job.
But we also want to say, as we segue into in terms of responsibilities of consumers, to make sure that when you sign up, wherever you sign up, that you peruse, well, not just peruse, but you want to carefully look at any contracts that you may get to ensure that what you want, you are indeed getting, and what you signed up for is what you wanted.
My mama told me
that
to
will
shop
minimize
around.
the amount of complaints we have coming to us. But we certainly want you to go out and be a part of the liberalized sector, take advantage of the fact that you have choices, but just make sure that you understand exactly what your obligations are.
Absolutely.
To the provider.
Mavis Johnson Colley, my former colleague up the road on the big house. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for
being
a part of it and making sure that as the corporate consumer
relations
officer that we get the chance to meet with the people in IRCA and get to talk with them face to face, because a lot of people believe that that's the fellas with the big stick. Stay far from them.
We're excited about it. It's one of our roles is to ensure fair competition.
Yeah.
And when we see it happening, we get excited.
Wonderful.
And, we're not the big bad wolves. We are
Stephen Baru,
here for
thank you very much, and of course we will see you down the road when the confirmation comes across. From acting to actual CEO.
As always, it's a pleasure to be here.
Wonderful.
Steve.
Well, we tried to work along to make sure that everything is going to be good. We're building a country, so we've got to do it together. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's roll to the break. When we come back, boy, we've got some musicians coming in here today. They're ready to march and all kinds of stuff. And I'm talking about the Big Music Project. The big band registration closing on September 30th. That's tomorrow, so you better listen today. In just a minute, right here today on Hard Copy.
Good, 13 convenient locations. Better, helpful and friendly staff. Best, this week's specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Whole chicken wings, $1.39 per pound. Kellogg's Tri-Fund cereals, the 52-ounce box, $10.99. Hunt's barbecue sauce, the 18-ounce bottle, $1.39. Pedigree adult dog food, the 55-pound bag, $33.59. Jumbo peaches, $1.39 per pound. Good, better, and best. Find it all at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
The Falcons are moving to a new night. You've asked for it and we've listened. Saturday, October 1st, the Falcons band brings you their 70s and 80s theme night at the Duke Hanna Entertainment Center, Horseshoe Drive. The band will be dressed in 70s and 80s attire with the hairstyles to match, performing great music from this wonderful era. The gates open at 7 p.m. with DJ music and live band. Entry fee is $10. For any additional information, do not hesitate to contact the office at 393-0781 or 357-5601. So come on out, enjoy the band, have a good time, and bring your friends and family.
At NUA, our team of dedicated professionals will get you into the policy that is right for you with our Hallmark-friendly, hands-on service. We offer distinctive insurance products for all your needs. Auto, now with new car replacement, cyber liability, marine, home, business, and so much more. Our team stretches from Grand Bahama to Abaco, Eleuthera, and of course, New Providence. Call a member of our team today. NUA, the hands-on agency.
Hey everyone, traveling this summer? Yes! Shopping? Yes! School expenses? Yes! Need an easy way to pay for it all? Yes! I thought so. Then you love a personal loan or credit card from Commonwealth Bank. Get fast approval on the funds you need with low rates and $100 bonus. Plus enter to win $5,000. Come to Commonwealth Bank today. See you there? Yes! Fantastic!
There's a new way to do your shopping online that's hassle-free, will save you time, and no extra fees. Introducing Easy Life. That's EZZY Life. This is how online shopping should be. Shop for a vast range of consumer products and then have them all delivered to a pickup point in Nassau. You make your payment at Big Yard Shipping on Village Road. It's as simple as that. What makes us different? All prices displayed are the final cost. No additional charges for international, local, customs duty, or even shipping charges. That's right, the prices you see displayed on the checkout card is the final price you pay. Simple and easy. So, nice and easy does it every time. For more information, call 326-7200.
Nice and easy does it every time.
Do you feel trapped and unable to move because of debt? Are you trying to meet your monthly obligations but still falling behind? Then what you need is a fresh start. BOB's Fresh Start Debt Consolidation Loan will combine your existing debts into one easy monthly payment, restoring your financial freedom and getting you back on track with a built-in savings plan. Talk to us today about your BOB Fresh Start Debt Consolidation Loan. BOB, your bank of solutions.
Based on the premise of anything you can do, we can do better in the Bahamas. The Bahamian Brewery is 100% Bahamian owned and operated. Proud Bahamians making good traditional brews in Grand Bahama, then bottling and shipping throughout our islands. Our thanks to you, Bahamas, for supporting our family of beers and beverages. Sands, Sands Light, High Rock, Strong Back, Bush Crack, Sands Pink Rattler, and Triple B. Brewed and bottled here and consumed right here in our Bahamas. Now that's truly Bahamian. The Bahamian Brewery encourages all of its fans to drink in moderation.
Reflections Beauty Salon, Spa and Supplies is your one-stop beauty shop where you can receive professional and friendly service in a clean and relaxing environment. At Reflections, you can buy human and synthetic hair, wigs, and extensions, along with other hair care, nail and skin supplies. Their professional hairstylists and nail technicians are prepared to provide you a fast, friendly, and efficient service. They are located on Carmichael Road and East Avenue, directly across the street from John's Plaza. Give them a call at 698-2021.
Executive Printers. We're professionals. At Executive Printers, we do not participate in trash talk. We concern ourselves with the accuracy and security of your laser check. That is why we put 15 securities on your laser checks. This is not trash. This is fact. It makes fraud almost impossible. Call us today at Executive Printers at 393-5011 or email us at sales@epbahamas.com. That's sales@epbahamas.com. Executive Printers. Laser checks. We do them right.
Want a better financial future? Seize the day. Is it crazy to think about retirement when you're this young? CFAL says it would be crazy not to think about it. Seize the day. Make your future happen now. Set goals, build wealth, and create the life of your dreams. CFAL can get you started. Visit cfal.com to find a savings or investment plan right for you. CFAL. Seize your future.
At Ron's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators and generators back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them at 242-356-0249.
There's no other talk show like the show. If it's 5 o'clock, it's hard copy.
Welcome back. This is Hard Copy, 4 before the hour. We are live this afternoon as we take a look at some other things that are happening here in our country. You know, not every day we get a chance to report good news because there's been so much negativity, so much funny business, so much politics, so much politics and everything else that goes on in our country that every now and then it's good for us to pause and talk with some wonderful people whose
been able to put together this music project, and this is now the Music Project Band Registration. You heard me talk about this music project before, and it is a fantastic idea whose time has come, where all the bands will get together, all those pop bands out of the high schools and so forth and so on, and generate some new activity, some new competition to get people off their duffs and off their telephones, texting, and basically looking at what is happening in our country to promote the culture through the big band sound and all that kind of stuff. And so with me today on the show, I've got the people who've been making it happen. Keandria Gardner, advisory board member, and of course also Raquel Pinder, who's the project manager for this big project that's coming up. The deadline for the project for the registration of the bands, you must sign it before Friday, September the 30th. And then this whole thing unfolds by February 4th of 2017. Yes. And you ought to be there. Your kids are interested in this. This is something that they must be a part of, because these are good people we're talking to. Keandria Gardner, of course, you know about Andy Gardner and all the people who do wonderful things in music and sounds and all that. And so you're talking about reputable people trying to do something for a country, and we want to congratulate them and encourage them. How's it going? Good afternoon. How you all doing?
Good afternoon, Steve. Good afternoon, Bahamas. It's definitely a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon and talking about our registration period for the music project. You know, since we were here back in June, there's been a lot of buzz going on with the music project and a lot of groundwork that we've been doing to be prepared for this registration period and then for the future of the music project. And so we have had the great opportunity to speak with several schools, get them involved, but we're making a clarion call for the parents of students whose schools are not signed up for the music project, to get them to their music teachers and their principals and urging them to become a part of this amazing opportunity that's being awarded to the students. So we're talking about everything for the students in terms of prizes. At the end of the day, they have the opportunity to visit Berklee College of Music next summer for their summer program. Excellent. All expenses paid. You have cash prizes for the second and third place winners, $3,000 and $2,000 respectively. And all of those top three bands, they will professionally record their original song that they would have worked on over the 4 months leading into the competition on February 4th.
So how important is this whole undertaking? Let me ask you, Keandria, how important is this whole undertaking? Because you're trying to bring about a new motivation among young people.
Yes.
You want to get them at the high school level if you can, and get them interested in doing something positive. You want to find them in a place where they can get a career and discover who they really are, because there's more to life than texting and sending a WhatsApp.
Yes.
And I'm under the impression that a lot of people Instagramming, is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Is it correct term, Instagramming? Or
You just use
Instagram. You said Instagram,
sending
whatever.
Instagram. You're tweeting,
Yeah, all that.
And Snapchatting.
Listen, see there, see now, look, see, this is what I'm talking about.
Periscoping.
I do not mind at all that these things are good. This is a wonderful thing for the experience of all Bahamian children and young people. But, you know, there's more to life than just that. I mean, we have to get up and do some things and get the exercise in as well.
Yeah.
And also get funky with some bands, some sounds, and all the different cultural aspects of this country.
Yeah.
And then become owners of what is happening here. This is the next group, the next cadre of the best Bahamian musicians in the country.
And that is, you hit the nail on the head with everything that you said. What we're trying to do is really begin to close the musical gap in our country and really develop the next generation of Bahamian musicians and performers coming up. What we don't want to see is that in the next 5 to 10 years, we're not creating the kinds of Bahamian music that Bahamians enjoy and that we can produce globally, send out globally, so that we can get people to come to our destination just for the music.
Yes.
One time ago, that's what people came to the Bahamas for.
Right.
And, you know, we want to make sure that while we are giving students the opportunity to work with current Bahamian music icons, we're giving them the opportunity to develop themselves personally. So while they're going to be working as a group, they'll have the opportunity to learn about imaging, about branding, about hygiene, how to present yourself publicly, how to speak, how to carry yourself. So we're trying to develop the students and the musicians in a way that we would be proud of them in the future. You
Mhm.
won't be able to say, oh, that person can sing beautifully. That
Mhm.
voice is, you know,
mhm.
way top notch. But
Mhm.
then when they open their mouth, oh, she should have just stuck to singing.
Yeah.
We don't want that anymore. We want great representatives. And we
Mhm.
figure that starting with the students in grades 10 through 12, we'll get that process going and, you know, keep that moving into the future.
Wonderful. Well, Raquel Pinda is with us today. She's a project manager of this event. And of course, she has a lot of work to do and she's up to it. How's this project been for you? Because really, you're talking about kids out of Grand Bahama and the other family violence. You're talking about all the 14 or so high school bands throughout New Providence who are going to be getting into the thick of things with this big band project that is taking the country by storm. How's it been going?
So far it's been awesome. I had the opportunity to walk into some music classes in session. And so it's so refreshing to see that kids at that age level, 15 or 16, has such great musical talents in the schools. I went to a school in Grand Bahama and they wanted to enter 2 bands because they had so many musical students. And so I thought that was really excellent. They didn't know who to choose to give to this opportunity to. So that means then that we do have the talent, we do have the gifting in the
No
schools.
question about it.
Right. So we just have to cultivate that. And so this experience for me has been an eye-opener in that all is not lost. If we can just channel.
Happy to hear you say that.
Yes. If we can just channel the energy positively, then we'll have a positive outcome. So far for me, this has been an awesome experience.
Now, let's talk about registration because tomorrow is the deadline, and I don't know if there's going to be extended because this project has been underway now from early June or thereabouts, and there's been a lot of hype and a lot of talk about it. And youngsters throughout the country, Grand Bahama, Abaco included, Long Island and Agua, everybody, they are hearing you today live on Hard Copy, those folks in Andros. And certainly the thing is, Annie Luthra, they want to be a part of something great. So I'm looking at what you're talking about with registration, and it tells me that it's open to all high school students.
Yes.
Registration is
Public,
grades
private, and
10.
homeschool.
That's
Through 12.
private and public high schools.
And homeschool, yes.
And homeschool.
Yes.
Because we have those 3 differentiations.
Different
out there,
categories,
so
yeah.
that's right. And then there's for kids grades 10 through 12 in the Bahamas. Pop band consisting of 5 to 10 members, and that includes musicians and the vocalists. And then you've got a lot of prizes and the rules and regulations that you'll inform them about. Applications are now available online. I want to talk about that in a minute. School bands must sign up though before tomorrow, Friday, which is the 30th of September. And this has been a good time for the full month of September to get you back in school, to know what you're doing, to organize yourselves, and then to register.
Yes.
All right. So online, what happens?
So online, the application form is there. So you can see it at www.tmpbahamas.com. Once that is completed by the students and the music teacher, it's just emailed and submitted to our office at info@tmpbahamas.com. And the school is signed up. And Raquel, along with our team, would liaise with the students in school to ensure that they're informed of everything that we have upcoming for the students, who their mentors and coaches are, and then when their learning sessions would be. So it's not just a performance that they will be doing February 4th. It's really a program to develop our musicians. So I also want to make note of the schools that have signed up with us already. So if you're listening, we have Kingsway Academy that's with us, Queens College, C.I. Gibson.
Are you serious?
Yes. C.C. Sweeting, C.R. Walker, Temple Christian, St. John's College, Anatole Rogers, GHS, St. Anne's, R.M. Bailey, and out of Grand Bahama, we have Tabernacle Christian, Bishop Michael Eldon, and St. George's High School. So if your school was not listed there, that means you have tomorrow to nag and bother and budge every time that you have a break in school to speak to your music
Did you say
teacher.
St. Andrews or did you say St. Anne's?
St. Anne's.
St. Anne's.
St.
Okay.
Anne's, yes.
St. Anne's Blue Waves, the Jolly Green Giants from St. John's will be there.
Yes.
But I did not hear the Mighty Aces Aquinas College, the best group of that.
They're not there yet.
This is unbelievable.
Mr. McPhee said, Andy, why Andy didn't call me and tell me about this? When Raquel came back to the office and mentioned that, I said, oh my gosh, I did not
Now,
know.
let me tell you,
That's
let me just
my
tell you,
fault.
you need to know this. For all the Mighty Aces and the Aquinas people out there, you need to know this.
Okay.
For many years,
Dominated.
Aquinas College was the school of choice when it came to music and arts and
wow.
entertainment and all that. the best in talent shows and all that kind of stuff. Hello, Aces. You
My
heard
mother
me?
still talks about all of them.
And let me tell you, anyone else who wanted to come close to that had to be a distant second, third. I mean, distant. Because SAC was known as the Big Red Machine with those people who are going to, track and field will kill you. St. John's were known for some things, not really basketball, even though some people tell you they were. But they were known for a little, softball and things like that. And then you had Kingsway. Kingsway is known for a little basketball. Queens College was known for a lot of swimming
and academics.
And also they also had a good art program, music and art. Yeah, they did back in the day. I'm talking 70s, 80s, that kind of thing. So I don't know why, and I'm not saying this to discourage anybody. I'm just trying to tell you that if you ain't got Aquinas College in there, you got to make sure the standards are set.
That is a clarion call
Yes,
for anyone who knows Mr. Mackey.
So Aaron Bailey was also good, the Highberrians.
The Highberrians at that point. I heard about it. That was before my time, but I learned about
Highberry
that.
High, that's what we used to call it.
But see, you
The same
realize
Aaron
that
Bailey.
you're talking about the rivalry that
Yes.
existed back in the day, just based on performing and the performing arts. And what we're trying to do with the music project is bring that back as well.
Yeah.
Because we don't only want to celebrate our athletes, we want to celebrate our performing artists and our visual artists as well.
Absolutely.
With the music project. And so one thing we want to encourage persons is when we have the additional events that you'll hear about on the big day, when you purchase your ticket, please note which school you are in support of, because from the ticket sales, a portion of those funds will be going directly back to the schools
Is
to
that right?
develop their program.
Okay.
So
well,
we want to make sure that
gotta-
everyone is out there getting their school colors.
I
Schools are
got to
going to
make
be.
a clarion call down to
Yes.
Ramsey Johnson and them at Aquinas.
We have to.
You can't let down the legacy of Andrew
Schools-
Curry and people like
Schools
that.
are going to be able to pick their colors, so all of their paraphernalia and everything is going to be geared towards that. So we're really trying to help the students in the schools with what we're doing, bring that old school rivalry back.
Wonderful.
the
And I was
music
going to
project.
ask you about that because people may be wondering, why are you doing this? I mean, your group, you're part of the Gardner clan. So K. Andrea Gardner, who's the chairman of this advisory board of this, for this music project. I mean, this is a good thing. I love it. I love the fact that we're doing a high school bands competition. I love that. I mean, I know what that used to be like back in the day. We look forward to it. And we looked to that as a place where, that's where real stuff happened. Class and all that took place there.
Yes, and that's what we're trying to bring back.
The
quality,
the quality of it. And so I'm saying that now that you've done this, the key is, so why are you doing it? What is behind it? Some people think that these things just happen because some people want to do a project and get some publicity and that's it. But you have more as to the impetus of this whole thing. There's a whole big lesson behind what you're trying to do. And I heard you earlier, Kay, I heard you when you said the bring about competition and the bring about things that they're doing in music that's ours, that's our culture.
Yes.
And that resonated for a second with me because I know what we've been up against in recent times. And you have to promote the sound of the Bahamas.
Correct.
And that's why I suppose you try to do that as well.
Yes. A part of what we're doing is promoting the sound of the Bahamas, but the other aspect of what we're doing is the development of Bahamian music. A few years ago, before my time a bit, musicianship in Bahamian music was a staple in our communities.
Of course.
Not only did locals go to different clubs to listen to live sound, but we had tourists that came in to listen to what is uniquely Bahamian. And so we're trying to get the students to, first of all, understand their history, but also help to write what the future is going to be in Bahamian music. We understand that our music today, as we define it, may not be exactly the same in the future, but we have to understand what makes us Bahamians
There you
and what
go.
makes our music so unique and such a gift to the world. And so once we can get the students to understand that and we can get them to appreciate what we have culturally, we'd be able to change the world and transcend all of the issues that we have going on in our country and just appreciate our own and our music. So that's what we're trying to do. Just give the gift of music.
I tell you, and it's good. I as I listened to you, I could remember all the old boys back then, from Duke Errol Strachan to Duke Hanna and all these people who did music, and Blind Blake and everybody else who we're now looking forward to that kind of treasure trove that we
Yes,
used to
are.
have of yesteryear.
We're missing
You know,
that.
that mama lend me a donkey just to keep company with mine, you know. My donkey
missing
gone
that.
wild in the bush. My donkey gone wild.
We're missing
My
that.
donkey in the neighbor's
Yes.
yard. My donkey gone
Yeah.
wild.
So the thing is, the students have an opportunity to write an original song with this process, with the
Mhm.
music project. And so it's going to be very interesting to see the kinds of music that they come up with, the sounds that they're going to incorporate into their songs. And, you know, it's a great opportunity for them, a wonderful opportunity.
She left me behind with 9 children to mine and a house in good order to keep.
Bahamian music.
Yeah.
That's
real-
what it's
real
all
thing.
about, telling a story. So I also want to encourage the community, the corporate community, as well as just regular Bahamians. If you want to contribute towards the lives that we plan on changing with the music project, visit our website, visit us on Facebook, give us a call at our office, because we're always looking for persons to help us make this vision a reality and change the lives of students.
Wonderful. Well, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I thank you so much. And your mom, what's her name again?
Kay Gardner.
That's
yeah.
right. She's the original Kay Gardner.
She's the
You're
original
you're
Kay.
the other Kay Gardner.
Yeah, I'm.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I'm Kay Jr. That's what everyone says.
And of course, there's also your brother, who's
Andrew Drew Harmony, who's
he's already Miss Harmony. That's what they
Drew
call it,
Harmony.
Drew
Yeah,
Harmony,
currently
right.
studying in Berkeley College of Music.
So he's not here for this time, but he's
But he
very
will
much
be back.
involved.
Very much involved. He's also going to be showcasing during the project on the 4th.
Mhm.
He's writing, I think, 7 new songs for the project.
Is that right?
Yeah, and so he's ready to go. Ready to go.
Wonderful. And then, of course, you have good old dad, eh?
Yes, my dad is with us on the board. We also have a few other great people with us, like Edison Sumner from the Chamber of Commerce. We have Mrs. Hope Seeley from Commonwealth Bank. We have Mrs. Cipriana Bethel, formerly of the Central Bank, who does human resources
Mhm.
training and development. We have Wendy Lewis on the board, Vernal Clark, better known as VG Clark the Jr.,
okay.
with us, who's notorious in the country for his backline work. Pia Glover Roll from PTG, former
I met her
Miss
last
Teen
time when she was
Bahamas.
there, right?
Yes. Aaron Turnquest, young lawyer, very brilliant mind. Timothy Smith with us as well. And also Anthony Coakley, AC from Y98. He's also a part of our board. So, and Sarvesh Parmarthi, who was also a part of our board. So, you know, we have a great team working with us behind the scenes to really make this project a great experience for all of the students, mentors, and the wider community.
So if people want to get in contact with you all, as far as a telephone number, that kind of thing, to be a part of the music project, a big thing coming up next year. This is going to be big. From the 4th around this 2017. Now they're gonna start things off in the election year.
Yes, we're kicking
2014.
it off,
And you can-
making a difference
I telling you,
positively.
and all these young people will be doing their thing, eh?
Yes.
So those telephone contacts and the other information, and they can get you online. Just tell us what it is. So that
698-0140, or you can reach us, or you can visit our website, www.tmpbahamas.com, or you can find us on social media, Facebook and Instagram, and that is TMP Bahamas 242.
Snapchat and YouTube and all that. Kind
Yes, sir. We have a channel web series coming out very soon.
It's a whole new world. Eh?
Yeah, we're doing everything.
I'm so
hitting
happy that you all
everything.
are trying to rediscover your roots by looking through the music, because all this new stuff, you know, the Instagram, the Snapchat, the YouTube, and
It's
all
a
that.
lot to keep up with, but it's a great way to keep everyone informed of
Wow.
what we have going on.
I think that you all ought to be congratulated. I really appreciate the fact that you all are doing something that will make a difference. And this
Thank
is
you.
real. I mean that sincerely. You are actually making a difference, because what you are doing is infusing the young people of this country who may not have a good idea as to what we are all about.
No.
And they can come mainstream into who we are with our culture, the
Exactly.
musical expressions of the Bahamas. And maybe we can produce a couple more T Connections and a couple more of the Funky Nassau Boys at the beginning
Soulful
and the end.
Groovers
And the
and
Soulful Groovers and all that.
All of them. Yeah. We're trying to get that next generation out there.
I tell you. But one of the things that you need to do too is to come up with some trivia for the audience of the Bahamas who are listening, the hard copy people. Our hard copy nation is very, very musically inclined. I can tell you right
Yes.
now. We know music from everywhere and everyone, and
This
people
is
love
gonna
it.
be fun.
We even put music into our shows sometimes.
Mhm.
And I don't know what my music man will do today, but he may find something from a Blind Blake or something just to throw down something here today before I let you go.
I think he'll
and,
do that for
and,
us.
And the good thing is that if you do that, infusing the music and the culture and the people, then we will get a better understanding as to who we are.
Yes.
What this generation is going to be all about. This is the renaissance of the generation for the Bahamas with
yeah.
Bahamian music. And
It is.
And we owe it to the gardeners. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. And all the people who have made it happen on your team. So let me see what my music man. It's a young fella.
Yes, he is. And I think he found something for us.
Mama, lend me a pigeon. There
you go.
Mama, lend me a pigeon.
You talking about the pigeon, though?
After
He's telling our story.
Yeah. His pigeon gone wild. His pigeon flew away. Music from yesterday, and this is the kind of stuff what the young ladies are trying to harness and make happen. And you can imagine GHS doing something, and Kingsway Academy. Simple music, melodious.
Beautiful harmony.
This is the late great Alfonso Higgs, Blind Blake. We love it. Thank you so much, Kay. Thank you so much, Raquel.
Thanks for having us.
And we look forward to talking to you again.
We look forward to being back.
The Big Music Project 2017 is coming up. We go dancing to some of this. When we come back, we're going to bring in the King, Dr. King. He's going to be with me. We'll talk some health stuff for the last half hour of our show today. And we thank Kay Gardner and, of course, Raquel Pinder for being here with us today. All the best with your music project.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Take it to the bridge, boy. Take it to the bridge.
Teddy, lend me a chicken. Ah, Teddy, lend me a chicken just to keep family with mine. My chicken gone wild in the bush, my chicken gone wild. My chicken in the neighbor's yard, my chicken gone wild. Teddy, lend me a pony to keep company with mine. Teddy, lend me a pony to keep company with mine. My pony gone wild on the track, my pony gone wild. My pony in the neighbor's yard, my pony gone wild. Teddy, land me a pigeon, company with mine. Teddy, land me a pigeon just to keep company with mine. My pigeon got wild in the bush, my pigeon got wild. My pigeon in the neighbor's yard, my pigeon got wild.
Thinking about traveling this summer? School expenses? Shopping? Need to pay for it all? Want a loan? Fast? With low rates? A $100 bonus? And a chance at $5,000? Visit Commonwealth Bank. We're ready to say yes.
Bethel Baptist Church presents its annual Youth Day, and it's going to be exciting. This Sunday, October 2nd, 2016, at 11 a.m., you want to be there and hear Pastor Dwayne Thomas, who is from the Relevant Kingdom Center in Georgetown, Exuma. You must be there for the annual Youth Day, the theme, Destined for Greatness, and the special music and dance by the Youth Day Choir, the Youth Praise Team, and the combined youth dancers. You ought to be there because it's going to be a whole lot of excitement at Bethel Baptist Church this Sunday, October 2nd, 11 a.m. Take your families and go to Bethel Baptist Church because God has a blessing in store for you.
Good, 13 convenient locations. Better, helpful, and friendly staff. Best, This week's specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Whole chicken wings, $1.39 per pound. Kellogg's Tri-Fun cereals, the 52-ounce box, $10.99. Hunt's barbecue sauce, the 18-ounce bottle, $1.39. Pedigree adult dog food, the 55-pound bag, $33.59. Jumbo peaches, $1.39 per pound. Good, better, and best. Find it all at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
The Falcons are moving to a new night. You've asked for it and we've listened. Saturday, October 1st, the Falcons band brings you their 70s and 80s themed night at the Duke Hanna Entertainment Center, Horseshoe Drive. The band will be dressed in 70s and 80s attire with the hairstyles to match, performing great music from this wonderful era. The gates open at 7 p.m. with DJ music and live band. Entry fee is $10. For any additional information, do not hesitate to contact the office at 393-0781 or 357-5601. So come on out, enjoy the band, have a good time, and bring your friends and family.
In 3 years, I'm expanding my business.
In 5 years, we're building our dream home.
You can speak with confidence when you know you've invested wisely. With superior rates from BOB's B-Dollar Investment Certificate, your money grows according to your schedule to provide extra funds just when you need them.
In 10 years, she's going to college.
B-Dollar Investment Certificate. Sow a little, reap a lot. From BOB, your bank of solutions.
Based on the premise of anything you can do, we can do better in the Bahamas. The Bahamian Brewery is 100% Bahamian owned and operated. Proud Bahamians making good traditional brews in Grand Bahama, then bottling and shipping throughout our islands. Our thanks to you, Bahamas, for supporting our family of beers and beverages. Sands, Sands Light, High Rock, Strong Back, Bush Crack, Sands Pink Rattler, and Triple B. Brewed and bottled here and consumed right here in our Bahamas. Now that's truly Bahamian. The Bahamian Brewery encourages all of its fans to drink in moderation.
Want a better financial future? Seize the day. Is it crazy to think about retirement when you're this young? CFAL says it would be crazy not to think about it. Seize the day. Make your future happen now. Set goals, build wealth, and create the life of your dreams. CFAL can get you started. Visit CFAL.com to find a savings or investment plan right for you. CFAL, seize your future.
Executive Printers. We're professionals. At Executive Printers, we do not participate in trash talk. We concern ourselves with the accuracy and security of your laser check. That is why we put 15 securities on your laser checks. This is not trash. This is fact. It makes fraud almost impossible. Call us today at Executive Printers at 393-5011 or email us at sales@epbahamas.com. That's sales@epbahamas.com. Executive Printers. Laser checks. We do them right.
Reflections Beauty Salon, Spa and Supplies is your one-stop beauty shop where you can receive professional and friendly service in a clean and relaxing environment. At Reflections, you can buy human and synthetic hair, wigs, and extensions, along with other hair care, nail and skin supplies. Their professional hairstylists and nail technicians are prepared to provide you a fast, friendly, and efficient service. They are located on Carmichael Road and East Avenue, directly across the street from John's Plaza. Give them a call at 698-2021.
Hey everyone, traveling this summer? Yes! Shopping? Yes! School expenses? Yes! Need an easy way to pay for it all? Yes! I thought so. Then you love a personal loan or credit card from Commonwealth Bank. Get fast approval on the funds you need with low rates and $100 bonus. Plus enter to win $5,000. Come to Commonwealth Bank today. See you there? Yes! Fantastic!
When Steve talks, people listen. People listen. People listen.
Welcome back to Hard Copy on this Thursday, the 29th day of the month of September. Lots of things happening. September has come and gone just like that. So very quiet. Well, except for the impact of the school opening at the beginning of September. But what a month this September has been. Announcements from Bahama and announcements for you go get your money and announcements about all kinds of other stuff. There's all this talk about so many things right here in this segment tonight. We want to bring some focus to a couple of things that are very important. And those things speak to the actual area of health and fitness and wellness and all that. I've got Dr. King with me today because we like to try to keep this thing before us. And I'm understanding that there are some things that are very, very foundational that we must take a look at if we're doing anything moving forward in this country. Our health is very important to us, and the actual administration of health is even more important to us. And you can see that a lot of things aren't what they're supposed to be, or it doesn't appear to be the way that some people try to make it look. And so tonight I bring and welcome with us here this evening.
Well, I'm good to be at Hard Copy, Steve. Always a
Dr.
pleasure.
King, my good friend Kevin King. How you doing? What's happening?
Not bad, not bad. Steve, I always like to try and be factual.
We require that on Hard Copy.
Yes, I'm not episodic. So I'm bringing some hardcore facts to the Bahamian people so they can see the beginning or the angiogenesis of a thing, so they can understand why we are where we are and how we can
always interested
out of where we're going to be. And that's why I sent a call out today. I know Dr. Dwayne Sands is always on your show. Dr. Hubert Minutes is always on your show. All medical practitioners who feel that they have an answer for the health of this nation, whether you be psychiatrists, whether you be gastroenterologists, any specialists who feel that they have an answer.
Even if you're a gynecologist?
No, even if you're gynecologist. Because remember, Dr. Hubert Minutes is a gynecologist.
And remember now, Perry Christie said this morning about he ain't let no gynecologist tell him how to do it.
What I'm really saying is,
get serious. Steve.
What I'm saying is, the status or the state of the health of our country now is on their watch.
Yes, sir.
You understand? All the physicians of repute. This is happening on their watch. How can they solve this problem that's been just escalating for years and years, making millions and millions of dollars on the backs of Bahamians? How can they come and change it? This happened on their watch.
This disintegration.
Definitely on their watch. And that's why I'm saying, and as I keep coming on your show, I'm going to prove to you that NHI will not make a difference. If it does, maybe 1 or 2%. And that's it. Not because you have access to good insurance means you have good health.
Very true.
Okay? You're still looking at the outcomes. So what in the outcome is going to change because now you have insurance and you can go and get service from a private physician? What is going to change? Does he have something new that he doesn't have now?
Yeah, that's a big question.
I need to know. Why? Because there's a $3 billion facility. Does that make them change what they're doing?
Working, if you're talking
so
about
I trying to understand. So Steve, I can only right now lay a foundation of truth right now. And the reason why I want to read it is because I want you to see where this came from. What does that say, Steve?
Fast food, oppression through nutrition.
No, the top.
Oh, California Law Review. California
Law Review. Understand that now. So this is not
California Law Review.
Right. So this is not something concocted by Kevin King. This is not something concocted by a group of natural physicians that are radical. This is law. This is what's been happening in law. This is a law review by one of the most reputable law states in the U.S., California, Berkeley law. Okay. So the reason why I want to read it is because I don't want to miss anything. And I'm not going to read all because it's rather lengthy, but we can take portions of it each time. But Steve, I'm going to hijack your show just for a second so people can understand. Because in order to know where you're going, you have to know where you come from. And in order to know that, you have to know the beginning of a thing.
Yes.
So now we're going to get the beginning of a thing like you have never, ever heard it before. Could you allow me a few minutes, Steve?
Sure, I'm listening.
Okay. All right. The topic is Bahamas. Oppression through poor nutrition. Fast food has become a major source of nutrition in low-income urban neighborhoods across the United States. Although some social and cultural factors account for fast food's overwhelming popularity, targeted marketing, infiltration into schools, government subsidies, and federal food policy each play a significant role in denying, understand this now, in denying inner city people of color access to healthy food. Do you understand that? It plays an intricate role in denying people of color access to healthy food. The overabundance of fast food and lack of access to healthier foods, in turn, have increased African American and Latino communities' vulnerability to food-related death and disease. Structural perpetuation of this race and class-based health crisis constitute food oppression. Popular culture has raised some awareness of the deleterious effects of fast food, but media delivering this message often fail to reach the communities suffering the greatest harm. Even where efforts at education succeed, government supports of the fast food industry severely limits dietary choices for low-income urban African American and Latinos. To eradicate food oppression and improve health and life expectancy in these communities, activists must lobby for drastic changes in law, in policy, and education. Individuals and groups have mounted attacks on food oppression through litigation, education, lobbying, and community-based organizations. These efforts must continue and grow if they are to effect real and meaningful changes. The food, Steve, is the foundation of almost every major health problem in our country.
Yep.
And it's by design, as you can see. Okay. Let me go to another topic here, which is very, very interesting. Food oppression undermines both the survival and well-being of low-income urban communities of color. As one scholar notes, health is fundamental to every aspect of life. Without health, a student cannot do well in school. A worker cannot hold a job, much less excel at one. A family member cannot be an effective parent or spouse. Health crisis and the staggering cost they impose are critical underlying causes of poverty, homelessness, and bankruptcy. Reducing the physical quality of expectancy of individual lives fosters the creation of an underclass of people who become progressively more marginalized and powerless as a result of economic health crisis.
Yeah. I see. Go ahead.
Okay. Food oppression is structural because it is not the product of individual acts of discrimination, but stems rather from the institutionalized practices and policies of government and the fast food industry. Government policies engendering food oppression range from providing public assistance insufficient to cover the cost of fresh food to collaboration with the fast food industry.
Yeah.
What has also happened is they've taken major supermarkets out of the inner cities, put them in the other rural areas.
Mhm.
So now all you have is little convenience stores,
Mhm.
okay, liquor stores, whatever cash changing. The whole design of how you see it in America is how we are here in Nassau right now. You have to travel really far to get good quality food.
Well, that's true. One of the things is here in the Bahamas is that if you shop in the inner cities where there are food stores, and this is a fact, well, at least a lot of Bahamians believe this is the fact, that you will not get the choices stuff. It seems like some other stuff is dumped into the inner cities for the kind of foods that people get. And I'm not calling any names because the whole point is this is a consideration by the Bahamian people that you have to go out in the outskirts, like in suburbia, in most cases, to find the
Quality
people,
food.
the quality, and you can get the best of a lettuce head, the best of the fruits and vegetables, and they're moderately priced, but you get some other stuff that's inferior that happens in some of the inner city stores. Now, I don't know why that happens. I don't know if it's because they believe that, a lot of people here, they'll just buy it anyway because they have it. They walking, they pedestrian traffic. This is not people who could jump in their limousine and go to a place way up in the east or way in the west. And
All this by design,
yeah,
Steve.
you're saying it's by design.
By
You're
design.
saying that the government is complicit
Yes.
in this whole matter. And you're
Yes.
saying that we can have a better chance to eat healthier
Yes.
if we had the kind of quality of food here for us, and even the encouragement of the kind of foods that we should have, like
Yes.
farm fresh foods, that we should basically encourage the production of local produce so that we can, in fact, eat well and eat healthy.
But the reason why it's difficult for us, simply because we follow the Americans' model.
Yeah.
And it's by design how America
But we copy too
have
much.
their inner city structured.
We copy too
For
much.
instance, there's a country in the world that will not accept any fast food franchise from America. You know who that country is? Bermuda. Small little country. McDonald's came there once. The Bermudians went in an uproar and they made it law that no fast foods, nothing
imagine?
other than Bermudian food can be in Bermuda.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Could
We
you
joke here.
imagine?
We joke here.
The Bahamas without fast food. I mean, I was telling my kids and others back in the day that, look, one of the things that's quite important and quite interesting, I was telling them, is the fact that back in the day, there was no McDonald's. There may have been one Kentucky, and that may have been on Bay Street or Robinson Road. But these were like, this is like, that's a treat. But people, the housewives, they fixed the lunch at home every day for the fellas who worked at Batelco and BEC and Waterworks, because they were the big main three. And your daddy came home and got his food, and everybody came home and got their dinner that was cooked and that was well prepared and that was real food. After the early 70s, somewhere around there, certainly into the 80s, all that changed. We started, let's go on this fast food diet, and you see it, you want it, you're always hungry, you eat some of that. It is not really good for you, but that's what we're doing. We have a steady fast food diet in the Bahamas.
Steve.
And a lot of people who are now living today don't even know what it used to be like because they don't know about some little hominy with some little boiled fish water through or that little piece of potato on that and thing like that.
If you
They don't know
only
what-
knew how the U.S. government designed this whole thing, they make it cheap, okay? But the whole psychological part of it, when it was wrong or when it was a problem for blacks to sit in a restaurant with their white counterparts to eat, they felt discriminated against, all that stuff. The fast food industry changed all of that.
Yes.
They changed it. So there's no discrimination now. So you as a black person feel, oh, I could go to that restaurant now.
Yeah.
And I don't have to wait and think that they can gyp me or the prices are consistent.
I'll tell you an interesting
the food
story.
is consistent. This is by design.
You're right. I can tell you an interesting story. Back in the day here in the Bahamas when there was segregation, 40s, that were 50s, what happened was that you couldn't, your mom and my mom and our grandmothers, they couldn't go really to Bay Street to say afford to shop at the stores that they had, the city markets on Bay Street and all that. They couldn't that wasn't their thing. The liquor stores that were on Bay Street and all that, the package stores, you couldn't really go in there and expect to be served. And that was not only because of segregation, but because you're in business inside there. It was almost unchristian for you to even try to go in there. Now, some things changed right around the early 40s, 50s, right around there. That while the segregation was no more a hot topic, the people did a shift. Black Bahamians decided that they want to shop down there to the city market on Bay Street, and they grabbed a straw hat and their purse and their bag, and they say, "Child, I going to shop down there by Mr. So-and-so because that's the happening. This is the new style now. Child, I going down the road, I going to go shop." And mama got a basket and all that. And then plus she had her donkey, not a real donkey. The market donkey. You remember Market Donkey? Market Donkey was a man who used to tote everything over the hill.
Around.
He put all them baskets on his back,
head.
and he gone over the hill to take mama food home. So when those ladies went down to Bay Street, and they had this thing of the Market Donkey concept that, boy, we can have a trolley boy, like I have the fella could push the trolley and bring the food over there. Man, they had their own fella bringing their thing, human, on foot, walking with all their grocery. This was considered upscale. This was considered, I've arrived, and I saying something. Now, let me show you what happened at the same time. While they decided to migrate and go to Bay Street, and those things to buy the people things, they then make all that pound, shilling, and all that, and they spend it right back to the man who they make it from. The over-the-hill industry died. Let me tell you, over the hill in Grandstown and Baintown, man, we had every theater. There was all these theaters and newspapers. There was about 5 newspapers in Grandstown. Newspapers, like a real morning newspaper. They had all of these things, and people like Leon McKinney and Cleveland Aegis and people like that, those forerunners, they were the people who ran the business. That's where the penny saving bank come from.
I remember penny.
So the point what I'm making is that we migrated from our own wonderful industrial kind of commerce areas. And we went that way to the north, to Bay Street, and we started saying, child, we in style now. I got my gown, and what, man, I went down there, I walked through that aisle, boy, the air condition, and I walked through that aisle, child, let me tell you, that salt pork when they got there, oh, that's the bomb.
The same thing happened with food, Steve.
I'm trying to show you something. So you were saying in America, I'm telling you right home here, we had the same thing happen to us because of Big Brother and the big market forces looking to come in areas, and that's where you see all the stores now. They're all in the area over the hill. You see all the things that were reserved for Bahamians in the over the hill area. Pinland said that,
Yeah.
Well, all the mall and all the mall and marathon and all these things, they came into an area that really wasn't designed for them to be there, but that's where they are. And so today we have what we have in the country, and that goes all the way to the food thing. And so right now we're seeing a vicious cycle of food being sold into the inner cities for that people would call inferior. But if you look at the outskirts, if you look at the different bays and harbor this and harbor that, the next thing, you can go there and you can get the choicest of choice foods. It may be expensive in some cases, and so that's why perhaps people don't shop there. But the point is, that's by design too. They have it going on, and you want to eat healthy. Well, you can get healthy by eating some bad lettuce or some inferior peaches and stuff over the hill.
No, but what they did is they infiltrated even the schools on the primary level, get the kids used to the taste. Remember, they had to form a consistent taste. So they made sure that the Black people who really grew up on soul food, remember now, when they were slaves, they ate good.
Yeah.
I telling you, Steve.
It was home cooked.
They was home cooked.
Yeah, we knew how to
fresh
fix
fruits and vegetables. The black slaves ate good.
And we knew how to eat chicken wing.
Exactly.
What has a lot of parade in it.
Yes.
We knew how to eat chicken neck.
They ate good.
We know how to eat chicken gizzard. We fix it in a particular way that now these are staple diets in many of our countries today and many of our cultures. We have a chicken foot sauce and pig feet sauce. All the extremities became our food. You realize that. And things like breadfruit that they brought here to feed the slaves. The breadfruit, that was a good staple diet thing. That will fill you up, give you a belly full, and that's cheap, and it grow plenty and it grow wild. We got breadfruit today that we eat. So I'm saying a lot of things have happened in our country and in our culture that our people are unaware of.
They
We're
don't
not
know.
aware.
They don't
and
know.
so that's why we are caught up in this rat race.
They don't know.
Yeah.
I always liken things as good and evil
Mhm.
because that's what it is. Satan is a copycat.
We talked about Lucifer yesterday.
Okay.
Mhm.
God says, I give you the leaves of the trees for the healing of the nations.
Mhm.
Satan said, yeah, man, God ain't lie, you know, you telling the truth.
Mhm.
Just that it didn't take too long.
Mm.
Okay, I can make something that can be quick and you can be on your feet. Don't worry about what it can do later on.
Yeah.
The fact is, it's quick.
Don't worry, it
God
can
will
give
take
you
too
diabetes
long.
and high blood
Okay,
pressure
don't worry
and
if
all
it give you diabetes and all this. But so now he comes up with for pharmaceuticals,
Mhm.
deception. In the U.S., how they designed to keep the black African Americans suppressed is they said, look, we're going to give them what they like, the same type of food. It may not be what they accustomed to.
Mhm.
It ain't gonna be the same quality of good food what they used to have, but we'll have the same format,
A replacement.
the same replacement. So they like the deep fried, the
Mhm.
fried fish, the fried chicken, the this and that. So they make it into fast food, but it's not real food.
I hear you.
And one of the law professors at Berkeley did a test. He said, I'm going to stop eating everything and eat McDonald's for 1 month.
Hmm.
And his health deteriorated.
Wow.
Until he almost died.
Wow.
Till he almost died.
Well, those fast food people don't want to hear the sound of that.
No, Steve, there's so much stuff that I have in here about the whole design. Everybody's, remember, they started with cocaine,
Mhm.
heroin, Tuskegee experiment, bringing drugs into Watts, and then to top it all off, food. Remember, fast food started in California, and it spread throughout the entire country. And now you can't stop it
Mhm.
because it's government regulated.
Mhm.
And every country that follows it gets in trouble.
So, can we change our paradigm?
The
Can we change what
the
is
only
happening
way we can
in
change
the
it if
Bahamas?
there's an outcry from the Bahamian people enough.
Yeah, but I hear that, and that's not likely to happen. When
Not
you look
gonna
at
happen.
when you look at market forces and the fact that people
Oh,
can get into business that they want to, if they can bring a franchise here and they can do it, the government gives them license to do these things,
Yeah,
and they call
so
that
we need
progress.
so who can you mentioned one important word, government.
Yeah, the government.
So who can change? Who is the government?
Well, the
Steve?
people. The people can
We have-
change that.
If Bermuda
See,
says,
but
if
the people don't want to
if
change
the
that.
Bermudians say, look, we don't want no fast food in our country, and they're not the only country that banned American fast food. There's a lot of countries that will not allow American fast food in their country because it affects their health, and people know that.
Yeah, well, it's a big bill on the national health of a nation, and that's why you started out talking about it. I know, and we're not going to get any better if you have got a sick nation. You did it. We did a study as far as what the insurance companies have been talking about for many years. The insurance companies in the Bahamas, they don't really insure anybody. And if you have a pre-existing condition,
You could forget
you,
it.
you could forget it. And if you're going to get anything, your premiums will be so high that you will say, well, why am I paying all this money just in case? The point what I'm making is that when you look at the medical condition of our nation in the Bahamas today, you have somewhere close to about 50+%, 56, 57 at last check that I did, percent of people who are uninsurable. They can't get insurance.
Mhm.
And that's because they either diabetic, they have high blood pressure, they have some kind of heart condition, all kinds of things. And now with the new onslaught of so many other diseases that we now have,
Mhm.
they just can't get insurance.
Mhm.
And you got to wonder about it. If a nation is not healthy, they say the health of a nation is the wealth of a nation.
Mhm.
If a nation is not healthy and can't find their own way because they're sick, this one it affects everything. Productivity.
Everything,
The fella
Steve.
ain't going to weight because he's stomach hurting. The girl ain't come to weight because her eyes hurting. This one have headache. And productivity is at an all-time low. And so what you're saying is a good message. I agree with you.
I'm telling
You got to do
we will
something
not
about it.
get better until we change the food.
Well, let me take a call here for a second
Go
and
ahead.
see who this is on the telephone lines. Are you there, Hard Copy? How are you?
How you doing, Mr. McKinney? How you doing today?
Very good, thanks.
And Dr. King, how you doing today, sir?
Fine, thank you.
That's Mark here. That's Mark. Okay, first of all, Steve, the first Kentucky was on Marquis Street. The second one was Bay Street. But Steve, like you mentioned a little while
sure?
ago, I remember back in the 50s and the 60s, on Saturday was our big day to get up in our finest to go downtown, and we just used to go window shopping.
Right.
Other than that, we either walk over Centerville or
and go up to Mason's Vision. We used to go down to Nassau's Theater because we couldn't go to the Savoy, so we go down there and then we go window shopping, but then we want to buy nothing. Or you go with your parents, you go down by what the wharf's name states, the Rogers Wharf?
Wood Rogers.
Yeah, we used to go down there because, the little fellas in the little dinghies used to sell the fish. Saturday morning, you go and buy a little fish right there on the side of the dock.
You got
They had no big time boat and thing like that other than the Bahamas, Stein them. But Dr. King, something happened to me the other day, and it was so amazing, Dr. King. For the last 4 years, Dr. King, well, I was told when I was 50 that I became a diabetic. I don't know what had changed because I didn't change nothing much in my life. And all of a sudden I was a diabetic, by the doctor said, stage 2, take the metformin pills, the thing, one in the morning, one in the evening. But for the last 4 years, Steve, my sugar level was up to over the 200 and things. The whole time I go to the clinic, every time it was, but I was still on the metformin pills. Doctor, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Glucophage, metformin.
The other day, you remember when Mommy was on your show talking about moringa?
Yeah.
Steve, I planted, my neighbors and my friends could tell you, I got some moringa seeds. I got 2 moringa trees inside the yard. I got 3 moringa trees all on the outside of my fence, between my yard and the road. And what I did, Dr. King, I started doing the moringa tea. In the morning, just the moringa, I boiled the water, put the leaves in there, and just let it seep. And then I had to get used to the taste. And Dr. King, take my out to God, Dr. King. I don't know what happened, but on Tuesday I went to get my checkup down at Flamingo Clinic. And then the woman told me that my sugar was 113. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, man. That will lower that right away.
I don't know what it is, but it works. And the doctor said, what did you do, Dr. Rodriguez? I say, sir, I don't know. I just know I started drinking this moringa tea. And I would just maybe put a spoonful of sugar in there just to give it a little taste. But it works, Dave. Now my sugar is down to 113.
Yeah, well, if you keep putting sugar in it, you'll be right back up.
Every month I go to check my sugar, it was up there for 4 years.
So your point is that we need to get back to that other natural remedy.
I got some chickens, Dr. King, too, and I started eating my chicken eggs out of my yard, organic eggs. They look better, they taste better, and let me tell you something, it has to do something with getting back to eat real food. Bahamians, start growing your own food as much as your veggies and fruits and avocados and coconuts and mangoes, as much as you could get in your yard. Start growing. Bahamians, plant your own food.
All right. Appreciate it.
McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Subway, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, Starbucks, Domino's, KFC, Dunkin' Donuts, Domino's Pizza. They killing us. They killing us, and it's cheap. So we feel we're getting a good deal. And they target us. They target the children. At 3 years old, your child can tell you what he wants. Mommy, I wonder.
It's called supermarketing.
Yeah, this is by design, Steve.
Yeah. Well, if you see this big juicy something look like it tastes good, and you could dip your little French fry inside that ketchup and stuff, you would become a Pillsbury Doughboy over time.
I'm telling you, if I was,
all of our kids are kind of fat and out of weight.
If I was ever in a position, Steve, you have to be radical.
Obese, yeah.
You have to be radical to change it. You have to go against the grain if you want your nation healthy.
Yeah.
Like I heard someone talk about the president of Singapore. You have to be radical like him if you worrying about your country. You can't be worrying about America and all these places.
We got to find out. It all comes down to we've got to find our own identity.
And we don't have our own identity.
If you move around here now, we're losing a lot of things because of the culture conflicts that we have. The ethnicities and the different nationalities that we have in the Bahamas is one that has caused us to go wayward. I mean, we don't know what we're doing anymore. I was talking the other day on the same station and on the same show about pea soup and dumpling, a diet, a staple, something that was good for the stick to the rib, that would be had, good nutritious food, and okra soup and stuff like that, that people are doing crazy things with these two Bahamian dishes, and we don't recognize them anymore. The same thing with the boiled fish and the stewed fish.
people are doing things with it now that we don't recognize it anymore.
The group is tilapia now. I mean,
we got to get back to basics, and we've got to be guarding our heritage in a zealous way. We cannot be playing around with that. We've got to make sure that it is authentically Bahamian. And so, where can you go, Dr. Kevin King, to get yourself? You're a boiled fish man. Where you can go to get yourself a nice bowl of good boiled fish?
I go to Patricia's.
Yeah,
I go to Pat's.
Well, we'll see. That's what I'm saying. But you see that,
And there ain't too many
The
Pat's
place,
there.
the place should be lined with people wanting to invest in their culture. The Jamaicans are investing in their
And
culture.
they ain't changing.
with
They don't
all
change their
food.
culture for
They're
nobody.
doing their thing, but we don't. We have. It's hard to find a place to find a good steamed jackfish and some peas and rice or whatever. Even though that's not that healthy for you, but it's hard to find.
Why isn't it healthy?
Well, I say even though it's not that healthy.
Why
for
is
you.
it not that
Well,
healthy?
How you mix your starches and all the other stuff.
No. If you have good rice instead of all that junk they have, you get good brown rice, or they have good jasmine rice, a good basmati rice, and you cook
We
in
can
your
find these things.
and you cook in your fish in either coconut oil or olive oil, and not all this junk and vegetable oil. You have a healthy meal.
Yeah, understood. And I appreciate that. But you
A
see,
healthy meal.
I'm saying the basic stuff that we ought to be doing, we're not doing it anymore. We don't know what a good bowl of boiled fish tastes like. It has all kind of garbage in it these days. I mean, I don't know who these people are, but I think it's a shift in the culture that causing us to lose our food experience. And when you talk about the food that we eat, the fast foods are it's just too much for us, the fast foods. And a lot of people are getting hip to it, not checking for it. But it is a part of our culture now that this is what we've done in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
We have had the full-fledged indoctrination of fast food and quick and this and it's not good. So when are we going to find a good place where you can find a whole area that's selling nice boiled fish, nice stew fish, nice boiled cassava and some nice boiled pumpkin and all that kind of stuff, a nice good salad that has all the good stuff in it, a nice place where all the fruits are sold, from the dilly to the mango to the coconut and all those kinds of stuff. Don't exist.
Okay,
You
so
find
now,
them
so now,
far
do you
and
see?
wide between.
Do you see how food ties in to the pharmaceutical companies, to the medical? You see how it all ties in. You get sick, you got to go to the hospital, and now you got to get medicine. It's all such an elaborate plan. People only think of the plan from the pharmaceutical point of view, but there has to be a beginning and a reason for that. And the reason is they know that these people are going to get sick. The design is keep them sick. That's how we're going to make our money from the masses of the people. Keep them sick.
So obviously you on right now on a focus of trying to educate the Bahamian people.
I have to.
As to what's going on, because
I have
it's
to.
almost late in the game now.
Yeah.
And we're not improving.
We're not improving.
It's getting worse.
It's gonna
Progressively
get
worse for
but-
us.
Yes, sir, it is.
So your recommendation is to eat well by eating the right food.
And that's not even going to work.
Mm.
Okay, Steve, you cannot reach the people where they're at like that. This has to be changed from the top.
Okay.
This has to be a governmental change.
And they got to get serious and focus. Yeah.
You
But
see?
there's almost no hope at
Yeah,
that
because
level.
I mean, what they're doing now is a joke. It's
Yeah.
laughable.
Well, maybe when the government change, you think it'll stand a chance if the government changes?
It depends on the people. Everything depends on the people.
They got to make.
Yes.
They got to.
I have a
make
lot of
difference
friends.
by demanding.
I have
what
a
they
lot of
want.
friends in Bermuda. What the gentleman said to me the other day, he said, Dr. King, listen, wherever these fast food places go, it cheapens the whole country.
Oh.
If it ain't Bermudian food, we don't want it.
I hear the people talking about, when you're talking about tourism, they say you got all these hamburgers and French fries. People come to town, they ain't got no money to spend.
It cheapens the country. So the restaurant, your good Bahamian restaurant, can't make no money because they got this cheap thing here for $8.99, $4.99, and all over the place.
If we push the fact that you're in the Bahamas, you're going to eat like the Bahamians, and there's a nationwide campaign along those lines, and people are doing it because we got good food.
It still comes from the top.
Yeah. Well, I admire the fact that you're trying your best to do your thing, because as I told some people before, that this man here, Dr. King, could very well be the new man in health, in charge of healthcare in this country, if he joins up with the right group of people in politics. And I know that he may have some political ambition, and he could easily be one of the individuals who can change the paradigm.
It has to change.
To bring about a
Dave.
new Bahamas.
It has to. You can doing the same thing over and over again is what?
Yeah, insane.
Insanity. It ain't gonna change. NHI isn't gonna change anything.
Talking about insanity, tonight, Brandville McCartney them have their convention. The first night is tonight, or today was the first day, I should say. I don't know if they're doing it tonight. Maybe they did it this morning. You know, but today is the first day of their convention. Tomorrow is the second day of their convention, and
or the last day. Tomorrow's the last day.
Tomorrow's the last day. 2 days.
2 days. Yeah.
And then they go into the weekend, and so we'll know what happened.
No, there isn't anything happen.
There's no talk show.
No,
They talk
he's
about
unopposed. He's unopposed. The 3 top levels there.
unopposed.
Unopposed.
So it's just a walk in the park
Yeah,
and whistling.
nothing. Yeah, nothing.
So you think a lot of people were there? Were
I
a lot of
don't-
people there today?
I don't know, Steve. I can be honest with you. I try to stay in my element. My concern is for the health of my nation.
Yeah.
I have no axe to grind.
Yeah.
I have no political axe to grind. If my people want to be healthy, I know how to get them to where what has to be done.
Yeah.
Okay. These doctors have made millions and millions off the backs of our people.
Yeah.
And it continues today. This is structural government design for Black people.
That's your point. You want to get that across today.
I want to get it across to the in every sphere. What country on God's green earth will deny their people the right to get financing to do business? Or even outside the country? Where in the world? What country on God's green earth does stuff
There's no
like that,
foreign
man?
exchange.
This can't continue.
Yeah, we've got to do something about it. Well, let's look for some new people to come along.
Man, our people ain't serious, man. They can't be.
No, I believe
How long they want to continue to suffer?
I believe that our people has to be educated.
That's
to get
the
to
key.
the point of being sober and serious about what they want.
Mhm.
We're a good country. We have been abused.
Oh,
We've been
and
abused.
misused.
We've
Oh,
been
man.
abused, and that's what it is. And so it's going to be. We have to be patient. Those of us who are on the front line of trying to educate and inform people, we've got to be even more patient. I tell that to myself every day. We've got to be more patient because you see, our people are then used to a particular way. Excuse me, and that way is not the right way. But you've got to keep on trying to show them that this is what we have to do. Small steps and then bigger steps, and then we'll get there.
I'll tell you something, Steve. There are some European countries where American fast food chains used to be, and they're no longer there. So don't tell me it can't be done.
Oh, I know it can be done.
Okay? They said, that's it. Enough.
Yeah.
We don't want no McDonald's. We don't want no Burger King. We don't want no Wendy's. And they all gone.
If there was a nationwide campaign on healthy eating, and I mean, we inundate the airways with it, we inundate everyone to know that you got to get the word out. You got to start eating better, and we got to give them some proper statistics as to what happens if you don't, so forth and so on. We'll change this trend around.
And that's to be at the top still. Government has to remember what I said earlier. Laws. See, policies. See, the U.S. government has enacted laws and policies to protect them.
Yeah.
It subsidizes them. So they ain't going nowhere.
Understood.
Okay, that's why the food can be so cheap.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not eating real food.
No, it's not real food. The government subsidizes them, so everything is cheap and consistent. They have one place in Colombia that grows all the bad potatoes for the fast food industry in America.
They have a special
A
potato
special
farm
potato farm
that grows
just for
bad
fast
potatoes.
food. Just for them.
Yeah. My Lord.
Y'all don't know. Oh,
Anyway, I hear what you're saying. We have opened and kind of like set it in motion, and you've got to stay consistent so
Yeah,
that
there's a
people
lo-
can
there's a-
understand. You got to give it to them in small pieces.
yeah, because
bits
this
and
is
pieces.
law this is law. This is from the law books in America, how the U.S. government is designing to continuously destroy the inner city communities by food.
Yeah, and now we have the same thing in the
And we have the
Bahamas
same thing in the
because
Bahamas.
we're following suit. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, like I said, we are able to be a part of another culture, another place and time, and that's the people of the United Nations and other places. They're moving across the world. They're marching across the world, and they're saying this is what the standards are. You got to do this.
Yeah.
And that's in everything that we've been doing. But change gonna come because change comes in time if people get hip to it. Once Bahamians learn the right way about things and they know what is better, they're gonna do it.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. So I'm gonna be encouraged, and I'm gonna encourage them to keep on keeping on because you know, at the end of the day, if you keep putting that kind of thing down your throat and you get a belly full and you feel good about it, you know, the truth be told, later on, it will tell on you.
You know what will impress me? We have a conclave. The government calls a conclave on health. When not nowhere else in the Caribbean, right here at home in the Bahamas. And said, look, get all the stakeholders together, doctors, everyone, listen, we're going to change some things in this country. The Minister of Health stands up, he chairs the meeting. Number one, we're not going to allow this kind of food in our country no more. Because what we're doing ain't working, and we know that food is a basic part, an integral part of the sickness and disease and deprivation and death of our people. We're going to change that. And that's where it has to come from. Comes from the top. And if it doesn't come from them, it will not happen, because people, we are creatures of habit. We do things from learned behavior. How someone can stop eating Kentucky if they feel, boy, I ain't got no money today, I can't cook today, I go in and I get my food.
This person says, Steve, the tourists ask for Bahamian food when they come to the Bahamas.
They do.
They normally say they can also eat Wendy's and McDonald's back
At
home.
home.
They even go on to say it's garbage. Love the topic today, Steve. My husband and I, this person says, my husband and I are on this healthy lifestyle change, and we are eating because our people are eating ourselves to death. And the whole thing is that I agree that we need to get rid of all these fast food restaurants in the country if we're going to survive. But that has to take a concerted effort. Somebody's trying to tell me about the DNA convention. I say, Steve, the DNA convention open to the public tonight. So, well, they didn't advertise anything with me. I just remember that they're supposed to be having a convention. And so, you know, I suppose if you want to, you can go look in and see what they're up to. It's a lot of stuff that's happening.
Hey, George Bodie, how you doing, man?
Yeah. George Bodie calling you?
Yeah.
Steve, please ask Dr. King about the poor quality of Chinese food here now in the city.
Chinese food?
Yeah.
Man, listen here. listen. Our people, we are so, look, we have been so used, so conditioned. My heart goes out to our people. Number one, because we never thought that we were good enough. After a period of time, all of that went out of the window. And we don't know who we are. There's no culture on God's green earth that would disavow their citizenry from their culture and eating their own food. We don't want our own food. We want everybody else's food. Everybody could come here and maintain their own culture, except for us. It's almost like we don't have a culture anymore. And it isn't that our food was bad. The quality of the food was good. But now the quality of the food is so bad, we don't know what to do, so we're lost. And that's because we don't control our own destiny. We're relying on other people I'll use this word, to destinize us. They're destinizing us.
Yeah.
Steve, we all have eyes, right? Some people look with their eyes, and some people see with their eyes.
Yep.
Okay, those who see are visionaries. That's different than looking. Like Dr. Miles said, someone can look at a sheep and all they see is a sheep. Someone can see a sheep and he see clothes.
The fellows who do that are the fellows who, you know, they know when the money part of it.
Yes.
This person says, thank you, Steve. Cheers to you and your family as well. I am coping, this person says, with medical challenges, but grateful to God for life. And listen, every day and on Sundays, may God continue to bless you for the service you and the Peace family provide, educating and uplifting Bahamians. Your associates in Peter, the gatekeeper. Thank you, Steve McKinney, and the McKinney Broadcasting Network. I appreciate that. Some sad news in the news today. Of course, Henry Trotty Woods has passed on. The Prime Minister making
Henry
the
Woods
release.
from Bahamas Air?
Bahamas Air. Yeah, he had had some kind of a challenge medically
brain,
this week.
I think he had something with
Yeah,
the brain.
and then of course he passed away today, and so he was the managing director of our national flag carrier, the Bahamas Air, and he had to be airlifted earlier this week to the University of Miami Hospital, and he passed away earlier today. And we send condolences to his wife Gail, his daughter Valencia, and all the family members and friends and the family of Bahamas Air. It is a sad day because I knew the good guy and a real gentleman, and of course the Prime Minister bigged him up big him up in a big way today, talking about all the things that he have done for the Bahamas and how he's been, towering figure in Bahamian aviation for decades, and was a superb professional who led by example, according to the Prime Minister, and he will be very, very much missed by all. So Henry Woods passing on.
Why did he have to die, Steve? Why?
Suppose maybe it was his time to die. I don't know.
Sometimes that's an excuse that we use, that it's your time. Not necessarily, Steve. We are our worst enemies at times. And for instance, if surgery doesn't work and drugs doesn't work, what do? Tell you go home. Nothing else we could do. Okay?
But you could use some home remedies.
But you could do other stuff, man.
Natural medicine.
Come on.
Well, I don't know if that was the case with him. I'm
not saying that was the case with him, but I still feel that our people are dying too young and too often needlessly.
Well, listen.
That's all I'm saying.
Straight across the board. All I'm saying too today that it's just for consideration to his family and friends and all of those who wish him well and who miss him. We do feel the sorrow that you feel, and we do certainly want to mention that. And so I thought I should, and I thought I would today here on Hard Copy. Dr. King, I want to thank you.
Boy, Steve, this here's a treasure of information, but you can't do it all at once. I could only educate.
Little piece at a time.
Little piece at a time.
Yeah, a little bit now, a little bit later. See what happens. 13 past the hour, I got to go home now.
Yeah, man.
Is
Nathan,
that cool?
take us home. Yeah, man, that's cool.
Well, roll those drums, bro. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I want to say bye that we going to go get some pea soup and dumpling, but the doctor here, so
man,
I can
what's wrong with pea soup and dumpling? As long as you have some good flour.
Oh, I hear that. He ain't nothing like the real thing.
Just don't get no enriched flour.
He ain't nothing like the real thing. He ain't nothing like the real thing. Nothing like the real thing. Thank you so much for being a part of us today, my friends, on Hard Copy. And, of course, we're back here tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Don't forget, tune in because we've got the goods on most things. And we're going to have to hold it down on many things because we've got some people running wild throughout the country saying all kinds of things. And we don't even know if we should trust them. But so it is, another day. Sufficient unto the day of the troubles thereof. We close it here and leave it there. Hard Copy has been brought to you by the folks who make it happen. Let me just tell you who they are. The Falcons 70s and 80s theme night. Reflections Beauty Salon, Cybertech, Easy Life, Bahamian Beauty, Commonwealth Bank, Commonwealth Galena Insurance, Super Wash, Bank of the Bahamas, Super Value, Advantage Insurance, Ron's Electric Motors, Sky Bahamas, C-File, Executive Printers, McKinney Media Group, and Bethel's Big Youth Sunday, this Sunday, October 2nd, over at the Mother Church, Bethel Baptist Church on Meeting Street. All right, so we see you tomorrow. Thank you. Good night, God willing. Back tomorrow, back in the chair.